All right, it is 2 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone to the second session of Levels of Loom. That's not as easy to say as it sounded. We're going to be making videos today. Deborah Tran is with us, and she's going to walk us through. I am in the chat forum. I'm right here, but I will be going away soon. But please continue to talk to me through chat, and I will convey your message to Deborah. So with that said, Deborah, go ahead and take it away.
Well, hello, welcome back for those who were here last week and those who weren't. Thanks for joining us this week. So I'm going to do a real brief recap on what Loom is and the purpose of it, and then that way we will get started on making some videos after that. So real fast, I have no financial ties to Loom. I am adjunct faculty at Grand Canyon University for 3.5 years. I teach in the RN to BSN program, so that obviously means I'm a registered nurse, and I am a member of Grand Canyon's Faculty Advisory Board. So some of the objectives for this week, like I mentioned before, you can't be an educator and make a PowerPoint without having an objective slide. So this is the second of the 3-part series on Loom. So if you were here last week, you saw the first one was about how to sign up a Loom account. This week's session is going to be specifically about how to create a video and get some kind of first-time pointers. And we're going to demonstrate also some of the uses that you can have for your video, whether you're the one creating the video or maybe one of your students is creating a video. And then lastly, next week, we'll look at some of those advanced functions of Loom that'll help you kind of organize some of your videos and maybe make them a little sharper. So real fast, why do we use it? We kind of covered this last week, but again, some of the aspects that are some of the ways that you can use it is to create tutorial videos. You can make feedback videos. So some of those tutorials, I do it as a more of a public thing for the entire class. I've done it definitely for some of the newer students. So I teach one of the first classes in the program, and then I teach some classes later in the program. And so those ones in the first class, sometimes they need a little guidance on where to find some stuff in LoudCloud. So I do make a fair amount of tutorial videos for them. And then individual feedback, I will create things that, and I'll show you a little bit later how to actually do it, whether it's a paper or a PowerPoint. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to give feedback in a PowerPoint and help people understand exactly what elements. So I find these videos are much more helpful than actually trying to type a lot of stuff in. We also used it for fun introductions for the class. So I'm still teaching the old LoudCloud where you can't upload video, pictures to the class wall. So we actually like to use this for some introductions, and I'll be a little bit silly with making a video where you guys can see me today. And then if you need any assistance, so if this is the first session you've been able to join and you don't actually have the extension, the Loom extension on your Google Chrome browser, please watch the first video because we're going to kind of skip through that part since we already discussed it in week 1. So we're going to move just right into making videos. So some of the refresher tips that you need to have is, so when you're going to make your video, you can do it on a Mac or a PC, but it has to be a laptop. Desktop, you can view it afterwards. You can view feedback, but you won't be able to create a video currently on desktop. That is a future feature, but it's not a current feature of Loom. So as I mentioned a couple times, you do need that Google Chrome web browser because this is an extension specific to Google Chrome. It only records on laptops right now, which is actually kind of good because you got that built-in camera and microphone. And then you can also view videos in other browsers. So in Safari, Firefox, all those other ones, you can watch videos. So your students don't have to worry about having a Google Chrome if you're going to have them do watch a feedback one later. So we're going to get started and we're going to make a video, or we're going to show you first some uses. Sorry, just getting a little drink there. So as we mentioned before, Loom has a little rosette that it attaches, and so we will call it a rosette throughout this video. And you'll see in your upper left-hand corner, it's kind of right below your minimize icon, that you should see a rosette there. And so obviously anybody who did this last week and you created your extension, you should see this little rosette. If you don't see the rosette, you may not be on a laptop. You may not be on a Google Chrome internet browser. and you may not have totally completed the Loom extension installation. So if you need to do that, I have the website here. You can either Google search Loom, or you can put in the website www.useloom.com, and then you can go back to that. And again, there's some step-by-step instructions in the week 1 video, because we're going to focus on making one here. So when you actually have your Google Chrome browser up, you'll kind of see what I did is I pulled up the Grand Canyon University webpage, just so we'd have, something everybody's familiar with. And it was scrolling through the different pictures. And so what I did here is I actually pressed on my little rosette up here in the upper left-hand corner, right below my minimize. And so what it does is it kind of adds this shading to the screen that you see here. So normally when you pull this up, it'd be a much crisper, colorful picture, but it kind of almost grays it out, but it's more of a white color here. But that's how you know that it's kind of in this, it's activated, it's getting ready to record a video. So if it doesn't shade out like that across this whole screen, then it's not ready. The very first time, you'll also get one of these little pop-up boxes here that says record a video. What it is it's tracking your steps as you do some of those first steps in Loom, like sign up your email account, make your first video, have somebody view your first video. It's kind of like tracking that you have done all the tasks to complete a full video. So when you get this pop-up box here, this guy here is where you do a lot of your work. So you can see that there's 3 choices. Well, we'll go to the top. So you can either record a video or you can look at notifications. So later on down the road, when you make a video, you'll actually get some info here letting you know that somebody watched your video, and that's the notification section. So in the record section, you'll see that there's 3 different types of videos that you can record. One is with your screen and camera, and so you see it's showing my screen here, and then this little black circle down here is actually the camera that would be taking my picture. When I grabbed this screenshot, I actually had my laptop docked to my desktop, so the camera couldn't see me, and that's why my circle's black. But normally you would see your face in this circle. You can also do a screen-only video. So a lot of times, the very first video, maybe you don't want to appear on there, you can hit that screen only video, and then what it will do is it will actually take, if you have a picture uploaded to Google Chrome, it'll actually take that picture and put it in this black circle down here. So that way they kind of get an image of who they're talking to, but they don't get this live video feed, and you don't have to worry about if your hair is perfect or you aren't ready to be on film that day. So you can just show an image of your screen. And then lastly, there's like option to do your camera only. So this is kind of what I would use for an introduction video, or let's say I wanted somebody to do a video response to a question and I want them to have a lot of fun with it. Then that camera only option isn't going to show any of your computer screen, so you're not sharing any information from your laptop, but it'll just videotape you from your camera. Now, one of the other options when you're making a video that has your screen and camera or screen only, right below here, it talks about if you want to show your full desktop or the current tab you're on. So to record a Loom video, this is really important. You have to have your Google Chrome browser up because that's where your extension is. Sounds really simple. But let's say you wanted to record a video of, say, this PowerPoint I'm making right now. So I would actually need to say that I was showing my full desktop. I would click to start my video, and then I would minimize my window and then pull up my PowerPoint video. So this is one of the things that, it sounds simple when I say it right now, but the very first time I created a video, I was just trying to figure out, well, why can't I just make a video of the Word document or the Excel spreadsheet or the PowerPoint and show them, what maybe I wanted a student to correct. And it was really just because I wasn't processing the fact that I needed to open that Google Chrome browser first to get to the extension. And then you can minimize that screen. and then you can pull up whatever you want. But the biggest option with that is that you have to do your full desktop. So that allows you to just show anything. You can pull up additional windows. You can minimize windows. It allows you to pretty much maximize and show whatever you want. You can always use full desktop. The only thing I say, and I'll mention this multiple times, is just be mindful of whatever else is up on your screen. So if you use current tab, just keep in mind, the only thing you're going to be allowed to show them is the current browser tab you're on. So even if you want to change to another tab, let's say you had 4 tabs open, and I'll show you an example of that in the next screen, it's only going to let you film on that one you're on. So just be very mindful of your background, and you'll probably have most functionality if you choose this full desktop here. You'll also get this option on whether or not you want audio. Most videos are going to be about explaining things or talking about things, so you will want your audio on, but you just got to keep in mind that there is an option there to turn it off. There are some more advanced options here, but we're going to go through that next week. So again, we talked about the 3 types of videos, the 2 views. Works on a web page, you got to have that Google Chrome browser open, and it has on here will not work on opening browser page. And I will say that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'll show you an example of how that works when we actually record a live video. I'll show you if I pull up my Google Chrome extension and there's nothing there. Sometimes it'll just tell me it can't record, but other times if I actually go into the Google page, even though the image looks exactly the same, it wants you to actually type in some sort of web address before it will allow you to record. So you know when you open up your Google browser, and I'll show you this a little bit later on, sometimes it'll give you suggested pages based on what you used to look at in the past. And again, be mindful of background. So until you actually type in an address, it won't allow you to record. So the other thing you want to look at is down here, there's a couple little keys to starting your video. So you have a play button, a pause button, and a X button. The X button, it's not a stop button, it's a cancel button. So it will actually delete your video. So it's kind of really important to keep that in mind as well. It does give you an option to ask you if you're sure before it does delete it, but it's just real important. I think normally when we see like a play button, a pause button, and an X, we think it means stop. But on here, it actually means that it'll delete your video. So you'll find some easier ways to just stop or pause your video, you know, when you actually record one. But yeah, just be mindful of that X. So, and we already talked about the recording versus notification, so we're going to move on to the next slide. So here you can kind of see, this is kind of the basic troubleshooting, and I talk about background, and I just brought up a funny kind of trash picture. So you see the little trash there, and then if you notice what my other tabs say, one says stinky feet, and one says how to cheat on your homework. So just be really mindful. Your students can see all that. Or whoever you want to share your video with, they can all see what's on your other tabs if you share your full desktop. And so this is where I was saying as well, if you're going to videotape on the current tab, you see I have 3 tabs. I'd want to go to that tab that I wanted to record on before. So if I wanted to show my students how to cheat on their homework, then I would choose that tab first. But I actually just put it up as a joke to just make you be very mindful of your background. So the other thing is microphone. We talked about that on the previous slide. You have that ability to turn it on or off. And then so if you don't, you won't necessarily hear your microphone while you're recording the video. So that sort of troubleshooting issue we'll find if you watch your video later on and you notice your voice is really low. You'll actually just want to go into the settings on your computer. And you should have one for audio and you should have one for video, and you're able to turn up your microphone. So if you have your microphone currently turned down, you may not even be aware of that. You try to record a video, you might notice that your sound is really low and it's hard to hear you. So you just want to go into your computer settings and switch that up.
Like regarding the background, Lisa says like real estate, location, location, location.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and background can get you in a lot more trouble. So the other option is the video and the screen recording. So we kind of talked about that. My circle's blank. Maybe something's over your camera. My parents are very worried about their laptop camera always recording something. So they actually put a little Post-it note on top of their video screen. So just be mindful of that if you've done that. You just want to think about that. And then I said, what if it doesn't record on the Google web page? Again, you just want to put in some sort of web page. It doesn't mean that you need to record on that page, but if you pull up that Google browser and there's nothing typed in the actual search bar on the top, it won't allow you to record until you actually go to a site. So, and that's some of the things that you want to try if you're having difficulty recording. So we're going to move on. So here I brought up great teachers in history. And I figured I would show you kind of like what you see if you have the screen and the camera. So I actually opened my laptop this time to grab this. And so you can see my face is static down here. This is not my current image because this is a PowerPoint and we're looking at a screen grab that I did on my computer. So this is what you would normally see. If you don't see a picture down there in the corner, then you want to check to make sure that your camera's on. Most laptops have a light when your camera goes on, and so you'll know. Mine has a little green light when the camera's on, and so I know whether or not it's actively recording. And so you see here, I've also switched from full desktop to current tab up here in the little box. So in this instance, I would only be able to show you just this tab. I wouldn't be able to bring up anything else to show somebody if I created a video like this. So when you actually hit the record button, this is what you get. So you see the little play button down here by my image is actually turned green. You get a 3-second countdown. I kind of messed around with it to see if I could increase that countdown to 5 seconds, and I haven't, it didn't look like I could change that time. It just looked like I could get rid of the countdown completely, but we'll talk about that in the next video for advanced features. You can pause it though, so if 3 seconds isn't long enough, you can just click anywhere on this screen and it will stop counting. That's what I did to grab this screenshot. But yeah, so it'll go from that whited out image that you saw previously to this dark image, and this is how you know it's getting ready to record you. So it will give you a countdown of 3, and then it just starts. There's no sound, there's no ding, so you just got to be mindful of that it is going to start recording as soon as these numbers go away. And again, as we talked about down here, these buttons all work the same as they did on the previous screen. This is your play button, your pause, and the X does not mean stop, it means delete. So let's say you just started making your video and maybe you misstepped on something you said and you're just, instead of editing this out, I'm just gonna scratch it, I'm too early in. So you could hit that X, and it will ask you, are you sure you want to delete it? And you can make that decision on your own. So if I was recording just my face, I just want you to be aware. So even though the video, when it plays back from the student, will be the entire screen as just your face or whatever you choose to record, you will only see this little circle here. That's one thing that I think throws people off a little bit. So even if you are recording a screen only, video and face, a face and screen, or a video only of just your face, this image on the screen looks the same. So you're either going to see the page you're on, you're going to see the little circle on the lower left-hand corner for me. You'll see that there, but it will change when the actual video is made, how it looks. So you will only get that little circle, so you may not see fine details on your recording of your video, but when you actually play the video back, it'll show just your face and and we'll kind of demonstrate this later on, and it won't show your actual screen. And that can be a little misleading when you're recording stuff. So this this little video here actually corresponds to the last one. So you can see, even though I had a page there, I created a video of just my face, and you can see now it's the entire screen. So when you end your video, and there's multiple ways you can do it, you can click in the middle of your screen with your pointer, if you're using a mouse, or if you're using just a, I guess, I'm trying to think of the word, your little mouse pad on here. On my laptop, I don't have a mouse. You can hit the space bar, you can hit enter. For the most part, if you touch a key while you're in the middle of recording, it will stop the video. So you'll notice it will automatically come to this. And I wanted to show you a couple things. So because we just created this account last week, I don't know if you noticed this big red bar here. This is actually telling me the program's angry at me because I haven't updated my email account. So it won't be able to tell me if somebody watches my video. It's not the end of the world, but it is nice to get that feedback. So I haven't signed in when I tried to make this video. So it's just trying to remind me, hey, you want to sign in, because when you copy this link and have somebody else watch it, you're not going to get any feedback. You're not going to know that somebody watched the video. So it's just trying to tell me to log in. So if you see that big red bar up there, you maybe want to log in. So I see the question buttons flashing there. So I made that video of myself. It was a image only video, meaning that I didn't show my screen. I just showed the camera. And so you can see, as I said before, it shows the full thing. The other thing that I want to point out here is this is one of the reasons why you need something in the search bar. So this is how Loom decides what your title should be. It actually takes what your tab says and makes that your actual video title. You can edit that by clicking on it, but just be aware that that's the automatic thing. So if you have kind of something that you want to name your video, you really want to double click on that before you share it. Sharing videos are actually really easy. So you can just click on this copy link here, and what it does is it's just like your copy paste. It goes onto your clipboard, so then when you go to the place you want to share the video, you can just paste it by either the right click on your mouse, or on a Mac you do a double finger and you just paste. There's some other items here as far as settings, passwords, and trimmings, but we're really going to go through that in the week 3. But that's really, you're at that point where now you've made a video and you can share it. And so, like I said, this was a camera-only view. We're going to do a couple other types so you can see what they all look like. And again, I put this on here just as a little funny. No, seriously, how do I delete this video? So let's say you make it and you're not happy with it. So there you have another option here with a little trash can where you can get rid of the video now. So we'll move on here. So I wanted you to kind of see a little bit of what they would see if you chose to share your entire desktop. So Loom, when you create a video and you're going to somehow share some of your personal information other than your video, it always asks to make sure. So if you just choose to show your current tab, it doesn't ask you because it assumes that this is how most videos are made. It's an extension off of a current tab. So they're okay with that. But whenever you choose the option to share your entire screen, they kind of get this little pop-up box over here and they show you this is what that person's going to see. We want you to be mindful. Look at the box. Make sure there's nothing in the box you don't want to share. Obviously, if you're in the grade book or whatnot and you can see other students' names, then perhaps that's an option where you don't want to share your entire screen. Or you just need to make sure you minimize that grade book if you're going to go through other things. But it kind of gives you that option, that little, hey, are you sure you want to share your entire screen? And so here you can see I created a short video about on the Student Success Center. And again, it gave it that title. So whatever website you're on, it automatically gives it that title there. And this one was I kind of wanted to give you an idea of what it was like to see something that was sharing your entire desktop. So I didn't have to minimize, but I was able to pull up another web browser with another page that was on my computer. So if you have something that only works in another web browser, you could start the video in Google and then bring up your other browser if you shared your entire desktop. Let's see, I'm trying to think. The other thing that would be a little bit weird about this is, so if you have a docking laptop, which I do, it still only shares that screen that's on your laptop. So I have a stand-up desk and I have 2 screens in here. It doesn't give you the option to share that other screen. So just something troubleshooting wise, if you have it on your second screen, it's not going to allow you to share it unless you put it on your laptop screen. Let's see. We will go to the next one. So here, some of the things that we have used it for. So I know we have instructors in many different programs. So if you are doing research and you're trying to explain SPSS to a student, you could pull up that screen. You could show them how to run a statistical analysis. Something that's fairly complex to have to type out, it's much easier to do this in a video. And I'm sure everybody's had a paper like this where, you know, there's just, you're adding so many red points to this, and it just becomes very difficult and complex. Maybe the student doesn't understand, maybe the formatting's really off. Sometimes it can be really easy to do this in a video form. I tend to still do the corrections on the paper and then I'll create a video. But some people will just do the video. It's kind of up to you, but I feel like it really helps people when they're really off track, because my students, we can go back and forth in a tag of individual forum, and maybe we're just not getting to the right thing. And so this definitely helps a lot. So when you're actually putting things into LoudCloud, I grabbed a couple pictures from the new LoudCloud. And so the one to your left, you can kind of see that this is an actual assignment. So I find that we have a couple assignments that need a little bit of clarification. For instance, we have one that has a different option if you're an ADA student. And so we do find that because the ADA one is maybe a little bit simpler to fill out, that a lot of students like to do the ADA one. So I actually now create a video and tell them, because there's 2 links. There's the electronic link for students who are not ADA students, and then there's a written link for the ones who are ADA. And so I actually can create a video and clarify which link that they need to use, because no matter how many announcements, unless they see that visual, I always have a couple students that do the wrong one. So the nice thing is you can actually update this video right into the student assignment. So when they pull it up, they'll have the link for the video right in there. And then on the other side, on the right side here, this is actually an example of when you have an announcement. So in here, I'm actually asking them to create a video. And so this is kind of like where they're going to introduce themselves. So I just ask them the question, what's your internal motivator to go back to school? Do you want to advance in your career, possibly change careers? And then I ask them to make a short Loom video on what brought them to GCU, whether they're an online or ground student. And you may already know this based on the type of class you're teaching. If they're a primary, secondary degree, and where they are in their program, and what do they want to do after the graduation. And then you can't see, it's a little cut off, but then I would put my own video down below as an introduction. So kind of closing tips before we get in and just start making some videos. Remember, you can make individual videos for feedback, or you can make multiple use videos. As we talked about in the first week, these videos are good for a very long time. They don't expire. The length of the video itself can be fairly long. So if you're teaching a similar class on a regular basis and you know that there's something that always seems to be confusing in that one class, then maybe you can make a clarification and you can copy that link in each time. the other biggest thing, and I'll say this a bunch more times, and I actually had to change where my camera was facing for when we're going to make these videos, to just be mindful of your background. So not only the background on your computer screen, but also the background on your camera. I actually was teaching some classes during Thanksgiving, and we had driven quite a considerable way, so I had to create some videos, but we were in a hotel room, and so I had to be really careful because just obviously the environment, you're creating it in a bedroom, so you gotta be mindful that even though there's nothing negative behind you, how will it be perceived by somebody who's watching it? So, and then just on there, you want to see again the website, and then I did use the Loom site for references for this. And then let's see if you have, I just wanted to pop this up for people who might watch the video later on, who aren't live with us. If they have questions, or if you guys watching right now have questions, you can always send me an email, and I'm happy to help you troubleshoot. So let's get this to go down, and we will actually play a little bit with Loom. So I'm going to show you that little issue I have. So see how I've brought up my Google Chrome browser here? I already have my Loom extension here, but see, I have nothing in my search bar. This is where it gets a little bit upset, and it'll give me this error. Sorry, we can't record on this page. Please try another one. So that's something you want to be mindful of. So we're just going to pick something else. Doesn't matter what it is. And you can see what do I always do here at schoolwork. So we're going to pick up something. We're going to go to Google Scholar, because sometimes I'll show students, they work really hard to work on their APA, and sometimes I show them it's much easier if you just use Google Scholar for some of your references, and then obviously the library has those embedded as well. So I am a neuroscience person by nature, so I have a lot of stroke stuff. So I'm just going to pull this up. So I would maybe show, let's see, stroke guideline. I guess I need a little bit more. So all my starred ones here. So, and now that I'm on a page here, I have something in my search bar up here. Now I can hit my Loom button, and then you see how the whole thing grayed over. And then now you get to see my live video down here. And if I chose to not do that, so if I chose to go to screen only, see how it pulls up a picture that is in my Google web page. And so this is what would show in this bottom circle to a student if I chose to do a video on this page that was a screen only. And then as we go to camera only, see how the circle is still small. It's not going to record my screen at all, but it's actually going to record this circle. So we're going to show you a little bit of how to do all of these. So we'll do screen and camera first, and you see how that option for full desktop or current tab comes up. So let's try a current tab one first. And you'll notice as I talk, this microphone audio is wiggly. That's how you know it's picking up your signal. So we'll go ahead and start recording, and it'll give me my 3-second countdown. My little check mark turned green, and it's recording right now because the screen's not gray. So I'm just going to sit here and tell my student, okay, I want all of your references to be since 2015. And if you don't want to work really hard, you can hit this quote button, and it gives you your references in all these different styles. But in the nursing program, I'm going to tell my students I want APA, and if you click on here, it'll highlight the whole thing, and it's easy. And I'm going to X this out, and now I'm going to finish up my video. I hit my checkbox, and I see we got a question before I explain this real quick. Do we have any questions, Georgette?
Oh, Dr. Whalen was giving me a hard time. He says, can you create a video while showing a video? And
that's what we're doing.
I said, yeah. I said, we tested that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So this is what comes up. So I hit my green check mark to end my video. And so now it automatically takes me to Loom. So not very difficult. Now I have right here where I could copy my link right away. I could play it to see if I mark turned green, and it's recording right now because the screen's not great. So I'm just going to sit here and tell my student, okay, I want all of your references to be since 2015. And if you don't want to work really hard, you can hit this quote button and it gives you your references. So I'm going to pause that. So you can see I could play it, I could watch, make sure that there was nothing crazy in the background behind me, and that I had gone over what I wanted to go through. And then if I wanted to be really funny, I could change the speed, but we won't do that today. We'll try that next time, and then you guys can laugh at me. But so if I was satisfied with this video as is, I could copy this link. It tells me it's copied. I would pull up, let's see, we'll pull up another piece of paper because this is my dissertation. We don't want to copy it on that. Well, it's not going to let me do that. Quit. We're going to quit that. Because when I'm in the Zoom, it actually puts a bar up that doesn't allow me to minimize anything. So let's see. We will pull up Microsoft Word, and we'll show you. Now that it's copied, you don't have to do anything but okay, great. You just paste, and so then they have their link there. So, and you could do this in Loud Cloud, and I'm gonna have issues, I can see, moving this down to close it. And we'll force a quit here. Don't save. Okay, so that would send that video. It would just give the common link. It doesn't name the link your title here, and you can see we went to Google Scholar and I typed in the word stroke guideline, so this is why it's naming it this. And I'm okay with that because I'm not really concerned. I'm not going to save this video, but if I was going to save it and I wanted to organize it, then I would change that name, but we'll go over that a little bit next time.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, Lisa has a question about where it saves because she wants to make sure that FERPA is taken into consideration. And then she also asked, where is the embed code?
The embed code. So if you wanted to change it, you mean? To embed it to a, because this is the link that I use.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look into if it even gives us the ability to copy embedded code. I use embedded code when I post videos into other web pages.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look. I've not ever actually considered whether Loom had it. We'll find that out for you, Lisa.
Yeah, I'll look into that before next week. I did want to mention that I looked into what Slack was because somebody asked about it last week. And Slack is actually just a way for people to, you do have to pay for it. It's not free. I want to say that, but it's a way for people to do business and share ideas, videos. They make folders. It's almost like an expensive Google Docs.
Lisa says it's a back channel and it's free.
Slack?
Yeah.
Oh, when I went on there, it said that you had to pay per user. So there might be some functionality of it that's free.
Maybe.
But when I tried to put it on, like if you'd want to create a Slack where you would share things. So I think right here, if I wanted to share it in a Slack video for somebody who already has a Slack account, there's no cost.
Okay. And regarding the FERPA issue, though, if you're sending feedback directly to a student, you're giving just that one student the link, and the video actually resides in your Loom account.
Correct. So, and this was partially why I had said in the first video about I actually have one account for teaching, and I have created another account for work that I do outside of things for teaching. So I've used Loom at my job in a hospital when I want to share educational videos with staff here. I've used it with as a doctoral student, trying to do things with other people that I'm working with to show them how I did something. But yeah, so everything that you would do as an instructor, you could keep it in an account. Nobody, when they view one of your videos, they don't have any access to your other videos. There's no way to say adjust it a little bit and log into your account. So they only see that one video. So let's say you made a video that was, specific to one person's paper. Then and you only posted that video in that person's grade book spot, then you wouldn't, nobody else would be able to see that video. So even if you were to share now a general one that's an announcement and they go watch that video, it's not linked to any of the other videos that you have. Does that help answer that?
I think so.
Okay.
She'll post another question if she has a question. Oh, Marlene says if you click the arrow button to share, it gives the option to get the embedded code.
Pick the option.
The share button.
Oh, this one. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Awesome.
Excellent.
I was actually just on my phone Googling it.
So that's how you make one video with the with actually where you have your screen and you share your current tab. So now we're going to go back to, and you don't have to come out of this to do this. You can just click your button again. And so now you see it's on Loom. So if I chose to do tab only, it's going to make me do a video of a video of a video, which is kind of funny what you guys were just joking about. So I'm going to go to full desktop now. And I'm going to record a video with my face in it, again, just for fun. And so this is something I'm working on right now, which I can't see my face, but it's recording, so that's kind of interesting. So we're working on this poster we're going to present next month at a conference, and so we're going back and forth trying to answer questions. So I could start my video here. And then again, it asks that question here. Do you want to share your entire screen? Because it knows that there might be other things in the background that you don't want to share. So it always asks that. And that only does it when you're sharing your entire screen. And so where did we put that? Oh. So then we can pull different things up now that we have our full desktop that we can share. So we can pull this up. I can show them and say, you know, I agree with this part, but I don't think it matches this part. Just create the video. It also gives you the option at the bottom. I'm not sure if you guys can see this part right here where it says stop sharing, because of the fact that we're doing a video within a video here.
We can see it.
We'll give you that option to allow you to stop sharing midpoint. So let's say you realize there's something going on in your background or whatnot. So then you can stop that sharing at that point. So I can close this. I'm still recording. I can pull up other items, my email, whatnot, but obviously just be mindful if something is popping up, what's on there. So same thing, we're going to end our video. And so you see it says it's already recorded to my clipboard. I don't know if you saw that little link. But yeah, so this is exactly what he had said. This is recording a video and it has the video in the background. It's kind of funny. So same thing you would do here. We mentioned before I could delete this video. Are you sure that you want to remove this? Archive just means it'll save it in a folder. Whereas if we're going to go back to, we're going to go back to recording stuff, but it'll just give you a repository of ones if you archive, whereas if you hit delete, it's gone forever. So the other thing you can do is your screen only. We talked about this. Again, this is another option where you can do your full desktop. So if you want to pull other things up that are not in your web browser, then you want to use full desktop. If you only want to show the web browser you're on, then hit current tab. I'm going to do full desktop. I'm going to start recording. It'll ask again, are you sure that you want to share all of that? And I'll say yes, and I'll close this down. You see how it's not even showing me the picture, it's still recording. And I'm trying to think, what can I safely bring up that you guys won't want to see craziness? Let's see. And of course, it's going to take a while to pull up. So I could pull something recent up. And it's going to, let's see. Let's pull something of my own up here. And I think it's pulling up. It's just being slow. There we go. So this is me getting my paper back, and I had to fix a bunch of stuff. And so if I was telling a student, I could add all this commentary and then tell them as well, hey, you need to work on this formatting. One thing that's really hard for people to do is the table of contents. So you could explain that, and then you could stop sharing, and you see how it ended my video just from that. So we go back to Loom, and it automatically brought up that little video. If I wanted to, I could play it. And I'll close this down. You see how it's not even showing me the picture. It's still recording. And I'm trying to think, what can I safely bring up that you guys won't want to see craziness? So again, you can choose, do you want to keep this, or you can delete the video. This one we're going to delete this time instead of archive. And so that one completely deletes it. So the last one we're going to try is we're going to do cam only. And so again, this one just gives you that circle. It's not showing your screen, but I'm going to show you that that's actually what it does. So it gives you the blackout, so you know that it's counting down. And now it's recording. So I just figured I'd bring something fun in here. Instead of you guys having to watch my face all the time, you can see the rubber ducky instead. I used to collect rubber ducks, so we're going to stop this. And then you see, even though it was showing my screen and a little bit of the circle, and now it's recording. So I just figured I'd bring something fun in here. Instead of you guys having to watch my face all the time, you can see the rubber ducky instead. I used to collect rubber ducks. So if I wanted to say how much I loved rubber duckies, then I could give it a thumbs up. But we'll go through some of that stuff. And then any questions? So we showed the, and see, I don't know if you guys see this up here, but it's telling me I got a thumbs up to my video.
Yes, we can see it.
Awesome. So that's one of those things that you'll be able to see in your feedback. And we'll go through a little bit more of the notifications and feedback in the next time.
Now, is it possible to edit the title eventually, like if we wanted to?
So you see what I just did here? Actually, I'll move my cursor out. So it's actually pulling up the time. It actually had Google Scholar still there because that's the web browser I was in at the time. And so you just click here, you can delete this rubber ducky video.
Dr. Whalen just shared a video he created. Can you see it in the chat form? Maybe you could pull that up. Is that all right, Dr. Whalen, if we pull that up? Maybe I'll give him a second to respond.
Yeah.
I think it's probably okay because he shared it. Okay, good.
Sure, everyone, this should be good then. Let me get this out of the way.
Oh, there he is. I can't hear, we can't hear him though.
It says video's done and sent in no time flat.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So look at that.
Very cool.
And so even though, you know, I'm already in the Loom thing, if we had sent that and somebody else had shared it who didn't have a Loom account, they would be able to watch that just the same without having to actually get an account. Okay, and I'm going to delete this because I don't want to look at that funny face I'm making. So, and like I said, we'll go through folders and organizing stuff next time. Any questions, any type of video somebody would want me to make that real quick? We got about 11 minutes.
If anybody else has finished a video and they'd like to share it with us, we'll be happy to take a look at it. Brian says, this was great, thanks. Lisa said, so all students can watch, awesome.
Yeah, and so that's the great thing is you get to decide who gets to see the video. So if you want to make something very general, then you can add that link to your announcement forum, or if you want to make it short and sweet. I make a lot of videos. If a student asks me, oh, if they ask me something, a complex question, they can't find something, that I'll make them a video just for them. And literally it's the students all rave. They say, oh my God, that's so much easier. I wasn't getting it. And that just helped me. So confused about how to feedback on a paper. So let me see here real quick. So I'm gonna create a video. And I'm going to do...
I think the question, though, is both. You could do it either way. I know some people will just grade while the video is going, and other people grade first and then take a video of like highlighting some things.
Yeah, and I will say I'm more of the second type. I know some people don't... It's a real time saver for them to actually pull up the paper and just talk about the paper as they go through it versus doing all the highlighting at all. And then they actually post that link into the grade book, and that's their feedback. They ask them to watch that video, and it's their feedback. And then I personally use it. I'm old-fashioned. I grade the whole paper first, and then if I find something's just really off track, I like to teach a lot of my students about really grading to the rubric, because if they don't cover something on the rubric, then, you know, it's really hard for me to give them any credit for it. And so I show them how to put their headers in. Sometimes I'll show them where the rubric is in the assignment tab, just, you know, that sort of thing.
When I first started doing it, I did it like you did. I graded on paper, and then I graded on video, and I just found that to be to take way too long. And so then I figured out that I could pull up the paper and then pause the video while I read it, and then just quickly go through some real key things for them, because they don't, you know, most often they don't fix everything. But if I just focus on those things that are super important, you know.
Yeah, and for me, I have to really, I have to get my certain things done because I've got 3 kids running around. So I have to be really mindful about, I have to tell them all, hey, mommy's going in the back, making a video.
Dr. Quappy asked if you can pull up a paper. You'd have to have a redacted one, though, so we don't see student names.
Well, I can pull up my own paper. I don't have a problem.
Oh, okay.
So this was the paper. Actually, let's do the video first. And so you can choose whether or not you're going to show your face. Now I'm going to do my full desktop because that's what ensures that I can pull things other than this current tab up. So if I were to do current tab, I would not be able to show anything but what this tab is. So I do full desktop.
Right, and so you wouldn't want like the progress tab of Loud Cloud in the background while you open
Correct.
that up.
And that's why I said, you know, I generally, what you could have is you could have your Loud Cloud tab here, then you would have to have another tab up, right? Because you will not be fast enough to start the video and then switch the screen. So you will either have to have it completely minimized and a second Google Chrome window open, or you'll have to have Loud Cloud in another tab. But like I said, if you have Loud Cloud in this tab, and I'm sorry, when you do this in Zoom, I can't see the top where all my tabs are. I know you guys can see it, but you would have one tab that would have your Loud Cloud, and then the next tab, I'm assuming there's a tab here. Mm-hmm. I can't see it personally, but then you would have, you know, something, it could easily be, you know, something about APA or another style of writing, and then you would, or you could just minimize this one entirely, and then you'd hit your entire screen.
The nice thing about LMS5, though, is we can see a preview of the paper. So as long as we have that preview of the paper open when we start the Chrome or the Loom video, then we should be good.
Yeah, and like I said, I am in the old version, so I've not graded any papers in the new version. So for me, what I do is I have the Loud Cloud tab here, and then I have another tab of some sort that's over it, and that's where I actually open up the video or start the recording. Mm-hmm. And so if you kind of see here, this little red dot, mm-hmm. up in the upper right-hand corner. So this is telling you which tab it's recording. So let's say you did have 10 tabs up and you started that recorder. It's going to give you that little red circle to tell you which tab it's actually recording. And obviously you have the ability to watch this video afterwards to make sure that you don't have anything showing. And that's a really good idea to do, just, definitely your first time you make a video, and a video where you actually can see yourself as well, and see your background behind you. I actually had to move my screen because I have a huge window in here, and so you would have seen like just sunlight, and it wouldn't be very conducive to filming. So right now we're actually filming, so I'm actually going to pull up my paper so I could go in here and you can see she's got certain things in here telling me what I need to do. So if I was actually the person correcting this, I would say, make sure that you do your grammar check in advance, and I could actually go on here and do things. So you can see it allows me to do things. I don't agree with this comma, so I keep ignoring that one. But so I could add things right in the paper. I could type in here. I could just pull up things that I had previously done, or if, again, like as Georgette was saying, if I was going to maybe pause my video here, and see I pause it, it tells me the recording's paused, so I could go and pull that paper back up, read for a little bit, go, I'm not sure that this question is, hitting the point right, and then I could go back here and start recording, and then I pull this up and just start talking to the student about, I have concerns about this paragraph. I think maybe it's written in the wrong tense. Just whatever it is that you want to say to them, or maybe a clarification. And then you would stop your video. Whoops, actually. Stop your video. And then they're actually going to see, you'll see when we play this, we might go forward a little bit.
So as long as we have that preview of the paper,
because we actually were talking. For
another tab of some sort that's, say you did have 10 tabs up, and you started that recorder, to do just, I have a huge window.
We were talking a lot.
Make sure that you do your grammar check in advance, and I could actually go on here and do things. So you can see it allows me to do things. I don't agree with this comma, so I keep ignoring that one. But so I could add things right in the paper. I could type in here. I could just pull up things that I had previously done, or if, again, like as Georgette was saying, if I was going to maybe pause my video here, and I pull this up and just start talking to the student about, I have concerns about this paragraph. I think maybe it's written in the wrong tense. Just whatever it is that you want to say to them, or maybe a clarification, and then
so and you can see this is another instance where you can say, be very mindful of your background. So see how kind of messy this looks to see this and this. Maybe the focus isn't going to be on what you're talking about with this paper. So again, you can kind of see in the video what I'm seeing. So I see this, it's kind of hard to see the rest of my tabs, which you're not going to have that there. This is actually part of the Zoom recording stuff. But you could be able to close some of your other stuff, maybe minimize the window that you're actually working on, just so that just the paper is front and center. And then again, it's already copied to my clipboard. Whenever you make a video, it automatically copies it. But you can, if you're not sure, you can always hit this copy link and it'll do that as well. Or as we learned today, if we wanted to embed something or have the link here. So you can use it for other things. If you want to email it to your one of your students, you could use your Gmail account. Obviously, the student would already have to know that what your Gmail was. And I see we only got a minute left, and so I'm going to change this title. So I'm just picking a random. I'll actually put my name in there. So you could change this, and then you could even write the paper title if you wanted to. Week one, you know, and then as you do that, then that's your new name. And so that kind of helps you keep track as well. And then we can talk about folders and organization for next time. Any last questions? We're at 3:59.
No more questions. Thank you so much, Deborah, for putting this together for us again.
Yeah, I think just playing with it, that's my last little tidbit. You know, just go in, make your first video. I'm glad to see he was able to make his video.
Yeah, if anybody wants to send us their links, you can send them to either one of us, and we'll check them out for you if you want. We'll just give you the attaboy or the attagirl.
Yeah, we'll give you some thumbs up or emojis in your
Right.
video.
Very cool. And then that would be helpful too. So when we talk about notifications next week, it'll be more meaningful.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
And have a great weekend.